Folks, tell me, am I live again or what? It says I am. Alright, well, as you saw there, Funktastic Friday Part 2. I had to end my stream. I don't know why it is, like when I cut this car off, for some reason, if I'm doing a live video, and I cut this thing off, I don't get my live stream back. I don't know if it's something in the... It may be that, you know, it hooks up to my Wi-Fi in my car, and then when I turn the car off, like, you know, my Wi-Fi goes off. So that may be what the issue is. I don't know. But anyways, this is Funktastic Friday Part 2. I'm gonna get a few viewers in here, and I'll go back to what I was talking about. It's a nice looking Equinox right there, just like mine, but it's a different color. Yeah, that was kind of a charcoal blue. It's a nice color, which I like mine better. I like mine much better, thank you very much. Yeah, I like this silver, you know what I mean? It's like a gunmetal gray, almost a silver. I like that color a lot. It looks pretty good. So I got a black top on this thing, a black hood, and I got beat up by some hail not long ago in my house. We had a hailstorm come through and just beat my poor old car to death. Brand new car. But, yeah. So in case you guys missed like the first part, I was talking about this preacher guy that I ran into by accident on YouTube. He's got a channel. And I'm going to get a few more people in here before I start talking about it, I guess. This guy's a trip. He is. He's a trip and a half. Let's see here. 2 minutes. I don't know where all my fans are. Where are all my like YouTube fans? People that like my comments or my page or channel or whatever the fuck it's called. Man, there's some traffic out today. I'm sitting still right at the moment, trying to get out of the freaking mall parking lot here. I have to cut through the mall parking lot, you know, to get out after I get gas and to get back on the interstate. So I head east on Interstate 70 to get home. Yeah. What's happening, viewer? Get back out here in traffic. All these idiots can't drive. I don't know what it is about Missouri. People here just can't drive. You know what I mean? I guess it's because, like, you know, when I was a kid, we had something called driver's education in school. And that must be a class like they didn't get funding for anymore or something. Because I know at one point, you know, they had, like, each school had, like, 1 or 2 cars that they would, what was this? New message. I don't know nothing about no messages. Anyway, 1 or 2 cars that maybe some of the students wrecked the cars. Well, I'm just speculating. But, you know, it's like people just can't fucking drive anymore. They got no common sense. You know, I come in the mornings, I usually ride like almost a center lane almost all the way to work. And, you know, a lot of times people will zoom right up on me in the middle lane. And then they want me to move and they'll start flashing their lights and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm already doing 75 in a 60. You know what I mean? Why are you know, if I could go around, all right? Well, here's the problem with that, is these idiots want to use the right-hand lane to go around me when they should be passing me on the left, right? because that's the rule. I mean, it's like an unwritten rule, you know. You got one lane for people that are, you know, steady drivers. You got one lane in the middle for people that are passing the people along the right-hand lane and are going a little bit faster. And then you got the left-hand lane is supposed to be all for passing only. But, you know, people ride that lane. I'm guilty of that, so I can't really say too much about it. But, you know, if I'm in the center lane, don't pass me on the right-hand side. Pass me on the left. You know what I mean? That's almost like a golden rule. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're riding in front of a state trooper or a city cop and you try to go around somebody and you use the right-hand lane to go around them, you're going to see the bubblegum machine start making funny colors. You know, the ones on top of their cars. Yeah, they're going to start flashing because that's illegal to do that, to pass on the right. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But, you know, people just can't figure it out for some reason. So anyway, enough about that. So I was talking about this preacher that I ran across. They call him the Huckleberry Preacher. And this guy, he's a really cool cat now. He's got, you know, he wears a suit. Well, he doesn't wear a suit. He wears a sports jacket and a button-down shirt and tie. Today he was wearing shorts because somebody was busting on him about his shorts. So he wears shorts when he does this. And I guess he's in like a garage or a storage building of some kind doing his live feed. Which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that because, I mean, you know, I'm doing a live feed in my car. Nobody gives a shit. So this guy, he wears these really funky, cool sunglasses, and he always changes his glasses. That's something else I've noticed about him. Like, I bet you I've seen probably 3 of his live feeds, and he's probably had 6 or 8 pairs of sunglasses that he wears. Not to mention he has regular glasses. So he gets a lot of hate mail. Well, I would comments. I call it hate mail. He calls it comments. But you get a lot of trolls in there, you know, that want to talk trash about people. And they don't like his tactic because he uses a lot of bad words. Which, you know, I got a mouth like a drunk sailor, so, you know, it doesn't bother me too much to hear something. Hi, Mom, what's happening? Y'all say hello to my mom down there. Margaret, that's my mom. If you're watching the live feed, you take just a second, write hello, Margaret, or hello, Jim's mom, or something like that. That would make that lady feel special, I'm sure. But anyway, hi, Mom. So this guy, like I said, he's loud, you know, and he's obnoxious, but he's a good dude, and he's trying to, you know, get a good point across. And he has a good message. And like I said, his name is Huckleberry Preacher. So if you get a chance, finally caught you. Yeah, you caught me live. Well, I left at 3:30 today instead of 4:30 because I was on overtime all day today. And you know what? It's Friday, and I've burnt out, and they did it to me again. They loaded me up with a bunch of cars at the last minute to get inspected and all that, and I did what I could do when I took off. So anyway, so this guy gets a lot of hate mail comments on his live feeds, right? So what he'll do is he'll look these people up, right, on their on their YouTube channels. It is funny that these people all have YouTube channels, but they might have like 1 or 2 followers, maybe like 1 or 2 videos, and he'll call them out on it. And you can tell. I'm guessing. I heard him say something today about being in prison. So he's kind of got that prison mentality, you know. But he's funny. He does things in a really funny way, and a lot of people might get offended by it. Personally, I don't, because, you know, I know how it is to be the person on the back side of the live feed. You the person actually doing it. But so I told him yesterday, I said, dude, you ought to take your show on the road and become a comedian. Because I swear, if this guy was a comedian, he could probably make, he would reach millions of people, with his King James Bible and his verses and stuff that he talks about, But the man obviously loves Jesus because he's got Jesus 25 flag behind his head the whole time he talks. But the thing that people don't like about it, like I said, is he uses foul language, which, I guess, what is it, what was it, there was a verse somewhere in the Bible that says something about, raising your voices and being heard, let the word be heard or something like that. So that's what he's doing. See, I understand that, but other people wouldn't understand that kind of thing. So if you get a chance, now he came over to my page, he was like, dude, I really like your page, he was like, what did he call me, a four-eyed geek or four-eyed nerd, I don't know, but it was hilarious the way he did it, you know what I mean? And then he goes, oh, you go to a lot of concerts and stuff. He said, I'm going to check this out. But he made sure that he pointed out, like my ratio of viewers or subscribers versus the amount of videos I have. That I do a lot of shorts and a lot of videos, and I go to a lot of concerts, and I shoot a lot of footage and stuff like that. But he says, well, you got another subscriber now. So he subscribed to my channel, which is really cool because not only when he checks people's, YouTube channels out, he also encourages everybody else to look at their channel and tells them, has people subscribe to these channels. So that's a pretty cool concept, that he'll do that. He doesn't necessarily have to, because that's not something people just do on YouTube. You know what I mean? But he's a real trip, and this, there's no holds barred. Okay, so if he picks on one group of people, he'll pick on them all. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? And it's just so if you get a chance to check him out, his name, his handle is Huckleberry Preacher or Huckleberry Pastor, and he's got a lot of live videos. That's, I guess, he said something right now about being unemployed, so he uses YouTube to compensate, I guess, for his income. But I've watched it, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 times the last couple of days. I had to watch some videos that were, pre-recorded that were still there. But he's saucy, so you guys, if you go check him out, just make sure that, you're not easily offended. Because, like I said, he uses a lot of bad language. I've never seen anybody do this, but he wants you to understand, and he wants the people that listen to him to understand where he's coming from. And I guess he feels like if he uses these expressions and these words, in some way, shape, or form, he's going to make an impact, and he does. He's very impactful the way he does things, and the way he talks, and of course he raises his voice, and he slings his arm around and things like that too. But he cares about people in general. You know what I mean? Now, he's I don't know where he's from. I know he said that he had lived in like California and Florida and North Carolina and other places, but I don't know if those are places that he was in, where he was in trouble and did like jail or prison time, or if these are places he actually lived, like in a residence like I do, you know what I mean? But he's this guy, I swear. you just gotta go check him out. So it's Huckleberry Pastor or Huckleberry Preacher or something like that on YouTube. When you get done watching me today, I'm only going to be on probably about another 10 minutes because I'm almost home. But if you get a chance to watch him, go get one of his live videos and just give it a watch. Now, yesterday he was talking about fighting apes or gorillas or something. He was saying that, like, he was real precise about how he did it. You got to be quick on your toes, and you gotta like kneel down and squat, and then like karate chop at the same time at like a 38, I think he said 36 or 38 degree angle, and then you gotta put your hand in their rear and move it around. And he says you do that to one gorilla, you pick the biggest gorilla in the bunch and you do that, and then none of the rest of them will mess with you. I just it was really entertaining to listen to, and that's why I said the guy should be a comedian, because of things like that. And he really, like he tries to keep a straight face, and I guess in most cases he does, because some of the comments they get are pretty ridiculous anyway. But you can tell, like when people are on there talking to him, or chatting or whatever in the chat box, that they're trying his patience, and they're seeing if they can outwit the preacher. But I guarantee you, nobody can outwit this guy. He's definitely a one of a kind. And like I say, he's really unorthodox. I've never seen anybody preach like this. But like I said, he loves the Lord. He has Jesus of Nazareth. That's what he says that a lot. So he wants you to know which Jesus he's talking about. And he's not really too fond of like mainstream religion or whatever, whether it be Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian. And I know, like a long time ago, I said I didn't talk about politics and religion a lot, but I just felt like I had to share this guy's information, because I'm telling you, it's an experience you'll never forget. And I actually was kind of looking forward to seeing him this morning. I knew that he did morning videos. He did a morning video this morning for probably an hour and a half, and then his son came in and wanted to go to the store and do something. So he was like, all right, y'all, I'll be back. So he was nice enough, and he loves his kids, so he was nice enough to get off of the computer and off of his live feed, take his kids somewhere, and then I got a notification, a couple hours later that he was back on. So I went over and watched him again, and I put my headphones in at work, because it's hard for me to sit at my desk all the time, because if I do that, I don't get anything done. So while I'm working, I'm listening to this guy in my headphones, even though I don't see what he's talking to, or like who he's talking to and things like that. I can hear what he's saying. Just go watch him if you get a chance. Huckleberry Pastor, Huckleberry Preacher, one of the two. And you'll notice, one of the first things you'll notice is the Jesus flag behind him. It says Jesus 2025, and then it says our only hope, or something like that. And he doesn't really like the way things are going in America either. But he's not pushy. But if there's something on your mind or on his mind, he's going to let you know about it. But anyway, he really appreciates everybody. And it's like, I've only spoken to this guy, like he's only read 4 or 5 of my comments maybe. And I've watched a bunch of his videos, but I've caught him live a couple of times. And I've only commented, like 4 or 5 times in his videos. And he went ahead and made me a moderator, which I thought that was really cool, because, if he feels like, from the questions that I ask or the comments that I have, that I have enough character to make me a moderator, then, he must have a way of being able to tell who's good and who's bad, you know what I mean? But I think, to some extent, all of us have that ability. Some of us more than others. You really don't think about reading people, but every one of us do it. We all read people, you know what I mean? And some of us are better at it than others, but you really kind of have to have that streetwise ability to be able to read people, things like that. Now, unfortunate enough for me, I've been in a lot of situations where I've dealt with some pretty bad people, and then there's other places that I have but I haven't. A little stop. There's a stop sign right there. You see that stop sign? Jerk off. Jeez, I swear people, I don't know what it is about the stop sign in my neighborhood. People just do not want to stop. But anyway, you know, in most cases you can tell when people have good character or they have good intentions, but other times, you know, some of them are better at masking it than others. But then again, if you're streetwise, you're able to pick up on some of the things that they do and say. You know what I mean? So it makes people, you know, a little easier to deal with, especially strangers. You know what I mean? You talk about stranger danger. Yeah, that's a true thing. You really should pay special attention, you know, to people that you don't know. But anyway, this guy made me a moderator. I thought that was really cool. Then he went to my, like I said, he went to my page or my channel, checked out my stuff. He had some pretty good things to say, and I'm enjoying it so far. But he'll actually, he knows people, you know, I guess because there's been a lot of people that have visited his channel a lot. So, you know, he picks up on, you know, people very well. But anyway, so I'm at home. So I'm going to get out of here. I've been on 21 minutes. But the first part of my feed, I went to Costco to get gas. And then when I got back in my car and started it up, my live feed wasn't working for some reason. So I'm not sure why it does that. I guess because generally when I'm in my car, I'm using the Wi-Fi, you know, that's on my car. So anyway, Mom, you still there? I want to see if you're still going tomorrow night with us to this thing up in Shrewsbury. Anyway, you guys take it easy. Have a good weekend. And if you happen to get a chance to check out the first part, I know this says Funktastic Friday Part 2. There's a Part 1. It's about probably 10 or 12 minutes long. But like I said, I stopped at Costco to get gas. And when I came back and put my yes and yes. All right. I love you, Mom. I'll talk to you later. But anyway, so you'll just have to go watch the video, the first part, and then come back and see the second part. Now, see, I got 7 people on here. These are probably new people that have no idea what's going on in this conversation. But and I hate to like cut you short, but listen, 7 people. I know who one of them is, so that means the other 6 will need to go back and look at like the rest of the video. But you guys take it easy, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, Mom. All right, peace. We'll talk to you later.